technology implementations. About M2, we're a technology and process consulting firm who has the benefit of selling world-class technologies. We're headquartered out of Nashua, New Hampshire, but our presence spans the US and overseas. While our engagements really are very broad, we spend a lot of time engaged with machinery companies, building product manufacturers, and everything in between and those who touch these in any way. As mentioned, we provide sales and support of world-class solutions and complement that with a full range of consulting services. Everything from enterprise implementations, training, data management, and process optimization. We actually did just relaunch our website. I encourage you to check it out. I think it reflects how we're realigning and evolving to ensure that we meet the demands of the industry. While up there, also check out the Autodesk 2019 What's New series that we recently completed. So as mentioned, we do have a national presence. We're also fortunate to partner with Autodesk, as noted here on the slide, to provide those world-class solutions to the manufacturing industry. Along with providing technology sales, I mentioned that we complement that with a full range of consulting services to ensure customers have access to the greatest amount of success when implementing these new technologies. We use a proven approach to ensure stakeholders at all levels of an organization are involved and informed throughout the process. As mentioned, Vault comes with 3 flavors. The first, you have access if you own the collections or a select few of the individual products. All of these have unique tool sets which solve different purposes and build upon each other as you move through the various flavors of the application. I'll pause just for a moment to allow you to run through some of the capabilities, but as you can see, each flavor has a wide range of capabilities. As you move towards a professional version, you get all of the capabilities available in Vault. This includes multi-site replication and integration with Revit. This is especially important to those building product manufacturers who are getting more involved with the BIM process, feeding the demands of the AEC industry. As we'll see more in Brian's overview in just a few minutes here, we really can find data quickly. Removing project file chaos and the question of who has the latest file will rapidly disappear with the use of Vault. By managing templates and styles, we can enforce CAD standards, real-time collaboration, especially with remote locations. Having version control allows you to go back through historical design options. With web integration or cloud integration, we can share data with outside parties, and because it directly integrates with the Autodesk products, it has a simplified adoption process. Now, with all of that, seeing is believing, so I will turn it over to Brian to show some more of the details. Brian, I think you are up.
All right, great. Thanks. And thanks for clarifying the differences between Vault products and helping us understand the issues and the challenges that the implementation of Vault can address. Hi, everyone. As mentioned, my name is Brian Verboort, and I'll be doing a brief product demonstration, which I hope will familiarize all of you with Vault's use and capabilities in a bit more detail. First, let me mention that following this presentation, we hope that you're going to have time to open things up for questions so you guys can ask what you want, and we'll be able to respond to that. If you're anything like me, between now and then, you're likely to forget your questions, so I'll encourage you to use the questions panel in the GoToMeeting console as we go here. As those questions come to mind, go ahead and enter them there, and we'll respond to those questions either live on the call, the best we can, or we'll follow up with you and get you the answers that you need. Another point to make here is I'll be using Inventor and Vault Professional for this demonstration, so keep in mind that not everything you see in this demo is available in all editions of the Autodesk Vault products. Just know that that product matrix that was reviewed earlier is available from us on request, and of course it's also available online. You can find the most recent version of it by doing a keyword search for the words compare Autodesk Vault products. Pretty easy to find it that way. I should also mention, if it isn't already obvious by the previous information shared, that although I'm using Inventor as the design tool for this demonstration, virtually all of the Autodesk products and several third-party softwares are tightly integrated directly with and supported by Vault. So in addition to that, we're going to be working through several different scenarios and workflows during the demo, and from several different perspectives. So for example, at some point I'll be working as an engineer in the demonstration. I'll switch hats and become an engineering manager, and then even manufacturing manager, etc. So there are personas that we're going to be embodying in this demonstration as well, to kind of give you an idea of what it's like to have Vault in your organization across departments. So first, let's start out with a common task, and in the process get an overview of the Vault from an engineering manager's perspective. So as an engineering manager in my company, I'm responsible for the lightweight forestry equipment line of products that we make, and this includes managing non-CAD information coming into the department, distributing that information to the appropriate team members, structuring those team members in a way that supports and encourages collaboration within the multidiscipline design environment. I'm also responsible for driving innovation and improving product performance, cutting design and manufacturing costs by reusing existing designs, managing the change and documentation process, and all the things that go along with these types of responsibilities. So in addition to that, I need to work with people that are both inside and outside the organization, like the manufacturing design team and customers and vendors. So obviously requirements and deliverables are also included in my list of things to generate and manage. So anyway, lucky for me, Autodesk Vault supports me in these business goals and helps me to accomplish all of these important aspects of my role in the organization. In this scenario, my team has identified an opportunity for a performance and reliability improvement for one of our existing products. We've determined that by swapping an existing engine out for a more modern design, we can improve the product and secure our place kind of as a market leader among our competitors. And if we can, in the process, reduce the amount of redesign required, we can also help to control the cost associated with any changes we might need to make. That being said, some changes are going to need to be made to accommodate the new engine. So let's just take a quick look at the Vault user interface. This is Vault Explorer, and it's my desktop view into the Vault. And you'll notice that it looks very much like Microsoft Outlook or Windows Explorer. And much like Windows Explorer, you see that there's a navigation panel on the left which displays a folder structure. Also on the left side, there's a couple other panels which give me easy access to finding work that might be assigned to me, looking at open engineering change orders that are my responsibility. And there's also a list of shortcuts that I can use to access common or frequently used documents easily. Over on the right side is a properties panel where I can access and review metadata which is associated with my vaulted files and can be searched and even edited. Any edits that get made here are associated with the documents, and as such, they get committed back into the document, into the files when it's made in the Vault. The lower pane has several uses, one of which is displaying an interactive view of a selected design file. As the engineering manager, I need clear visibility on all aspects of the design and change process, and Vault will help provide me this. In order to initiate change and share information regarding some needed changes, I can simply drag and drop files or an entire folder of relevant documents into the Vault folder structure. As files are added, I get the opportunity to identify the purpose of the documents. So basically put a note for anyone that might be looking at that document to see. In this case, just a note for my design team to review and kind of get an idea what the purpose is of the files. Now we can see these supporting images are secured in the Vault, and they'll help define the context of the changes. And I've also provided a product manual for the engine that we want to use as a replacement during this redesign. Now my design team also has access to these documents. They're in the Vault. Next, I'll do a quick search to locate the existing design, which is going to be impacted by the change. And at this point, I'll create a quick shortcut of that design or to that design so that it's easier for me to access the model and the information in the future as this design change process moves forward, and maybe I want to check on progress. So by selecting the assembly, I can see a preview of the assembly, and as well I can get visibility on design history, so that it takes me back in time, so to speak. I also get visibility of the components that are used in the assembly, and I'll also be informed about the upper level assembly. So uses and where used give me visibility on other designs or the designs that are going to be impacted by any change I'll make. And we'll create a shortcut to that assembly as well, the upper level assembly. As part of the initial review of the proposed change, I had one of the junior engineers on the team acquire a model of the new motor and just swap it into the assembly so we can take a closer look. And we'll notice that those results confirm the viability. Looks like that's going to work for us of using this new motor. I can see that we're definitely going to need to make some changes to accommodate this new engine. Specifically, it looks like the muffler assembly and the related mounting flanges aren't going to work. So these changes, they seem like a reasonably good idea. It doesn't look too difficult. I'm going to green flag this and basically move forward on making this design change. Notice that at this point, I've been able to accomplish all of this without having to use a CAD software. I can get the information I need to make the informed decision directly from within Vault. Next, I want to initiate a formal change process. I'll do that by creating a new change order. Many of you might have this process manually initiated in your organization. I can use the ECO form that's in Vault to document and provide any detailed instructions important for the team to know and use to accomplish the needed revisions. Also note that the engine assembly is automatically referenced into the change order. The change order also has a routing list, which I can use to assign an engineer that I'd like to be responsible for the project. Now all that has to be done is to save and submit the change, this change order, so that I'm really initiating or authorizing the work to begin within my department. Now we're going to change roles a little bit here, and I'm going to play the role of an engineer that this work has been assigned to accomplish. So when that occurs, when I have work assigned to me via the change order, I get a work list email notification that I have a new ECO assigned to me, something that needs my attention. So I can click the link that pops up there and take a look at what I'm being asked to do. It looks like I've been asked to reuse as much of this current design as possible, obviously helping to reduce costs. It's been a while since I've worked on this particular design, so I'm going to select the attached file and reacquaint myself with the design and kind of figure out what the boss is asking me to do. And it doesn't look like it's going to take too much effort to accomplish this task, but I still need to make sure I'm doing my due diligence and make sure that I know what other designs would be impacted by the changes that need to be made. So I'll do a search for the existing product design because I don't want to spend time doing any work I don't have to. After all, the bulk of this design isn't changing and is already modeled up and released. And this is the type of change that's a great opportunity for me to use the Vault copy design capability. That allows me to copy a design quickly and easily, just with a right click. Right click on the source design here and initiate a copy of it. During the copy process, I've got the opportunity to put the new design in a separate project folder. I'm going to reuse as much of this existing design as possible, but some new components are going to need to be developed. And then the copy design preview panel gives me an opportunity to see the product structure, uses and where used, as well as to select the components of the design, which I've identified need to be new, and then copy them. It also allows me to easily identify the components that I want to be reused. And for the items that are new, I can assign part numbers manually at this point as well. I can do that again manually, or I can use a predefined numbering scheme, or even just add prefixes and suffix characters to differentiate between the existing and the new. Unique part numbers are important, so that's kind of the takeaway there. As I commit the specific actions, Vault is going to review the outcome, and in some cases it will provide detailed information about what's about to happen, and that's the case here. I'm making modifications to an existing assembly. The files are about to be copied or replaced. Just a notification. It's exactly what we want to do, so we'll go ahead and proceed past this dialog, this informational dialog box. Once the process is complete, the new project folder is populated with the newly copied and numbered files. This workflow allows me to create a new design without having to worry about other designs that may use the older muffler components and having them unintentionally modified in the process. Now that I've got the assembly prepared and the product structure looks good, I also want to attach this new assembly and the related new components to the ECO that was created by the engineering manager. This allows me to collect and track all the documentation associated with the changes. So I'll do a search in the Vault for the ECO, and I'll attach the new assembly and the associated new components. Now I can easily review the related files that are attached to the ECO. At this point, I want to go ahead and let my boss know I'm working on this by updating the open change order with and updating the current status for that change order. Now let's take a look at the challenges manufacturing might be facing. So as we've got some challenges in our organization, the Vault might be able to help us with. Our manufacturing team kind of struggles with having good communication with engineering, and some of that's on me, some of that's on them, and also purchasing is a little dicey sometimes, getting what we need in a timely manner and communicating there. Manufacturing also wants to help assess the manufacturability of products earlier in the process, as does the whole company. We can cut off or shortcut or bypass issues that might arise in manufacturing late in the process. So the use of Autodesk Vault's web client, I'll log in here, is an easy way to involve staff that's outside of the engineering team in the design process. The web client provides secure access and doesn't require a CAD license. The web client interface can also be customized to my personal preferences as to what's displayed there. And the capabilities of the web client can be enhanced to include the management of non-CAD files by adding a Vault Office license. We can talk more detail about what that's like. But the reality is this web client is a great consuming tool for those that don't have or need CAD but want to give input. You can see that the pictures and the PDFs that the engineering manager checked into the Vault earlier are there. And I can also do a search like the other staff members in the organization were able to do to access much of the same information that's available to the engineering team. Product information like uses and where used, it's important for me as well. The reason this information is even available to me is because of my role in the organization as the manufacturing manager. So Vault is role-based. For example, manufacturing shop floor staff won't necessarily have access to this work in progress level of information without being assigned a role which provides that permission. I'd like to maybe take a closer look and review the proposed design from the manufacturability aspects. I can do that using the preview. And also, I might want to provide some manufacturing input and get clarification on a couple things regarding the proposed changes. With my Vault role, I have the required permissions to be able to open this model up in a design review environment. I can pull some dimensions, add some manufacturing inputs, and get clarification, ask for some clarification on a couple of things. My markup and any feedback, questions, or concerns that I have can then be provided back to the design team. In this case, I'm going to use email for this purpose. As the engineer, I received the email containing the written feedback, comments, the markup, everything that the manufacturing manager sent. Because I want to make sure I'm keeping track of all the documentation that's related to this project, I want to check that email message into the vault. And I can do that from directly within Outlook. This is one of those third-party integrations that I'd mentioned previously. I can create a folder for the specific purpose if I want to store all the markups in one place, or I can store them in the project folder. It's your choice. The Vault check-in of the email reports that 2 files have been added to Vault. So let's take a closer look at that. Vault was smart enough to know to check in the markup as well as the email with no specific additional effort by me. It's identified as 2 separate pieces of data and they're both vaulted. I can easily review the feedback I got from manufacturing at any time and take them into consideration as I move forward with the design changes. So let's now go back to the ECO and open the file directly from there. There's no need, I'm getting a prompt here for checkout, but there's no need for me to check out the engine to do my work. So I'll dismiss that offer and start the process of replacing the old muffler assembly with the newly designed one and its components. I'll use the inventor replace component command to do this and take advantage of a vault search right within the command. And that'll allow me to find the new design I want to substitute into the assembly easily and quickly. I can be proactive and check out the assembly for editing, or I can just make the changes and be prompted to check out as those changes are made. I prefer to do my checkout as early in the process as possible so my boss and other users can more easily see what I've been working on. With a Vault perspective on the CAD design here in the Inventor browser, I can see what's been checked out, what's been modified, and if other users are working alongside me to collaborate on this design, I can easily identify what they have checked out and what they're working on as well. Next, I'll use Inventor's direct editing modeling tools to manipulate the exhaust piping, get the correct fit to match up the new components with the replacement motor assembly. Once changes are made, others that are working on the design are going to get a notification, and they can choose to update and see the changes I've made or not. It just doesn't make a sense to update those changes if their work isn't having any direct impact on what I'm working on. This is one of several significant advantages to using Vault. Being able to improve your design process and make sure that you have access to the latest and greatest design information, and really improving your whole design team's efficiency is part of what the Vault helps you realize. With the design changes finished here, I'll check the assembly back in. And I'll also let the boss know that the muffler assembly's been updated so that the manufacturing and purchasing processes can begin. That notification and approval process can be initiated by going back here in the Vault and moving the ECO through the desired lifecycle states. In this case, I'm going to fast track the approval process, which I can only do if I have the correct role and permissions. As the engineering manager, I return to my desk and I'm going to see an email and a Vault notification that lets me know that the change order is completed and needs my attention to get further processing. All that's needed for me to do at this point is set the effectivity date for the new product release and create the item records for the new components so that purchasing and manufacturing can get going on their planning and buying process. I can accomplish the item creation with a right click. While in the bill of materials management, I can review the bill of materials to selectively accommodate longer lead time items, or I can just select everything and get the entire assembly and the related components into process. The BOM contents can also be modified and reordered here by just dragging and dropping. And also, I can customize the bill of materials in a few ways. First of all, the item numbering can be adjusted here to meet my company's requirements. And I can also adjust BOM contents and add things like service kits, accessory items, and manufacturing consumables. So you're getting a true, complete manufacturing bill of materials in this case. A vault search yields one of the additional items that I want to add to this. It's a maintenance kit. I'll expand the kit's bill of materials and take a closer look at the kit itself to ensure it's got the correct components for this design in it. And then I'll just simply close the item bill of materials, and it allows me to commit the revision numbers and do a formal release of the design at this point. As I change the lifecycle state of these items to released, they're all then able to be sent out to our downstream business systems. I'll use the built-in ERP export capability that is involved and select the appropriate export options that match up with the capability of our ERP or MRP system. And along the way, I get an opportunity to obviously name the exported file and put it in a particular location. And then I also get a chance to do a preview on that export of the actual what it's going to look like that will be consumed in the ERP or MRP system. And that's it. Start to finish, a quick look at the design and change process in a Vault-enabled environment. Now, I covered a lot of information pretty quickly there, so we'll do a quick recap before opening things up to questions. We used Vault to store and manage both CAD and non-CAD data. We started and managed the change process with an ECO. We collaborated with both CAD and non-CAD users. We copied an existing design so we didn't have to start from scratch on a similar design. We easily reused, in the process of that, we easily reused existing design components that help us save time and reduce costs. We also tracked the changes to the design data as the design change progressed. We got and captured early input from people outside of engineering. We managed and tracked the design approval, the bill of materials, the release of the design. And then we also shared the design data with our downstream business systems without having to retype or re-enter all of this data. Thanks so much for your attention. Now I'm going to switch over and hand things back to our capable host and master of ceremonies.
All right. All right. Thank you so much, Brian. Hopefully I can get this switched over without too much of an issue. I know the Q&A slide's up, but I am going to advance to the next slide just to do a little bit more of a conversation and see if I can capture some of these questions. Again, as Brian mentioned, if we don't answer the questions directly today, we definitely will respond to each of those directly via phone call, email, or other source. Specifically wanted to really kind of circle back on some of the strategies. Certainly here at M2, we've engaged with a lot of organizations in both implementing new Vault systems, whether regardless of which flavor it was, the basic, all the way through the professional version, as well as upgrading from older versions up to newer versions and converting from one to the other. Certainly, the best thing and the biggest suggestion that we make to every organization is start out with a plan. Certainly, I know a lot of organizations leave that up to the IT department or information services department to either implement the technology or upgrade from one to the other. But certainly, the biggest pitfall and is really starting off with the lack of a plan. Our best strategy, our best approach is always engage all departments, design teams, production teams, stakeholders, managers, principals of the organizations to understand what the desired goal is. Certainly, each department, has their own goal and their own reason for implementing it. IT, it may be version control, simplicity of backups, but certainly, not engaging other departments, definitely limits the functionality and the benefit. The other is, for organizations, Vault is not really intended to be an alternate for maintaining an organization's infrastructure. Certainly we do approach a lot of organizations, and they'll come to us and tell us, our systems are slow. They're not responding. We're having, issues with, timeouts and things like that. Certainly, implementing Vault will provide a much better workflow. Even in that type of environment, we can, ensure that, who has the latest drawing file. But certainly it's not it's not intended to be a replacement for, maintaining an organization's infrastructure. I touched on it just a few seconds ago, but really establishing that workflow, or establishing a workflow that is not intuitive and not really beneficial to stakeholders in the organization will actually hinder the adoption process. Certainly, folks, and individuals on the team, as they're getting through their day-to-day activities and functions, certainly they want to engage with technology, and they want to, do things that better their own personal workflow, but also the organization. If there's really no perceived benefit, how is this going to make my day, faster? How is it going to allow me to produce a better design or produce a better product? The ability to get people to contribute to the process and adopt a new workflow really is challenging. So when you're developing that plan and you're laying out that strategy, ensuring that we understand where the Vault file store is, ensuring that we understand, the latest version of SQL, ensuring that we have enough, hardware space and things of that nature, is definitely important. But also consider how we're going to get our folks, and why are our team members going to be willing to move forward with the organization in this new process. As we discussed, the three flavors of Vault really do provide a wide range of solutions. I really would encourage you to reach out to an M2 representative to discuss which is the right fit. We certainly can assist in ensuring that you have a successful adoption. Again, it seems overly simplistic, but starting out with that plan is definitely the most important piece. And certainly talking to somebody, certainly we would love to have that discussion with you. But talking with a group of folks like ourselves to ensure that at least you're thinking the right strategy and going in the right direction certainly is a great start. So regardless of whether you decide to take on the initiative internally, engage with an outside consultant, engage with M2 directly, certainly part of that plan should be, reach out for a phone call and gain some advice. Let's discuss that strategy and certainly move forward. I really would encourage folks to move up to the 2019 version of Vault. Certainly some of the new features, some of the new integrations certainly are worth it. So if you're on an older version, 2014, 15, 16, you're considering moving up, we do, certainly we get a lot of requests for like even number years, but certainly really do consider the 2019 version. I think you'd be pleasantly surprised with some of the new capabilities within the application. If you do reach out, certainly here is our contact information. Sorry if I kind of messed up my screen there for a second. Apologize for that. So again, phone, web, email. My email directly, gwright@m2t.com. If you're having challenges, I can certainly help you direct yourself to the appropriate person, whether it's somebody on the account executive team or the consulting team. Again, this is George Wright. Brian, thank you. I know you're moving through your day. We appreciate everybody's time. Certainly go up to our new website, as I mentioned earlier. Check it out. Check out those What's New 2019 videos that we just completed. And I think there is a BIM for BPM webinar going on in just about a month. I really would encourage you to sign up. Everyone, thank you so much. Again, those questions, we will respond. Have a great day. Have a great long weekend coming up, and we'll talk soon. Bye-bye.